contracts ended, and I found myself in this strange position of being like, okay, now what? Now, I've worked with a lot of the people that I knew, and those client relationships were lasted years. They were wonderful, but then they ended. And so I was kind of in trouble because this would represented a huge part of my necessary income to take care of my family, and I didn't have any prospects, and I didn't know even how to go about getting more because they had always just come to me.
Hello, Yael. I am so excited to have this opportunity to chat with you. I would love it if you could introduce yourself, share a little bit about what you do and how you serve corporate clients.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. My name is Yael Shai, and I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Mindfulness Consulting. And I do consulting for higher education institutions, for corporations, and for any group or collective that is interested in bringing mindfulness, wellness, and well being into their environment and for their constituents, for transformative results for communities of care and for more resilience and overall well being.
So needed, especially given what we've all been through over these past few years. I'm curious, you mentioned the topic of resilience. Okay. So I would love to learn a little bit about what types of business challenges that you were experiencing with landing more organizational clients. Walk us through what was going on in your world before you joined us at Swagger School.
So I had some wonderful success in getting some corporate clients, particularly right when I started my business. I started the business in 2020, heart of COVID, and I came off of working for an institution for 13 years. And so I knew a lot of people in the field, and it was also happened to be a moment where like everybody was concerned about wellness and they were reaching out for support and for resources. And so it was kind of like unnaturally easy for me in the beginning. And I got some wonderful clients that kind of came to me and found me or were remnants of my previous 9 to 5 job. And then those ended wonderfully, but the contracts ended. And I found myself in this strange position of being like, okay, now what? Now, I've worked with a lot of the people that I knew, and those client relationships were lasted years. They were wonderful, but then they ended. And so I was kind of in trouble because this would represented a huge part of my necessary income to take care of my family, and I didn't have any prospects, and I didn't know even how to go about getting more because they had always just come to me. So I found Swagger School when I was really just kind of at a loss of how do I go find new people? How do I reach outside of just the people that already knew me and have already worked with me? And how do I build on the success of what I've already done in order to get more contracts and clients? I also had had some corporate work before outside of higher education, but the vast majority of my work has been in higher education. And the work that came to me from the corporate clients, again, came to me. They found me. And so I think I had a lot of angst and still figuring it out of how do I enter into this world where it was not my field in terms of corporate versus higher ed. And so that's why I also was really eager to learn from Agneti and from Swagger School so that I could break down some of the fears that I had about landing corporate clients.
So much of what you described is common for folks who have that early success, right, with existing relationships and contacts. And then when they're stretching and expanding and growing into new arenas, it can kind of feel like you're a little bit of a fish out of water. Would love to know what made you pick Swagger School specifically. So you had actually joined us for a pop-up event, and we'd been in touch for a while. So just curious, what attracted you to Swagger School and what made you ultimately choose us to navigate your corporate client journey?
So I have been, what's the word, like creeping on Yeti for a while. Just totally in awe of how what I perceive to be the way that she kind of embodies really herself and doesn't have to be anybody else. And I think this is the essence of Swagger School. Like the message that I was receiving was like, you can really be yourself. You don't have to speak this corporate speak that, talking about specific types of language and words that I don't speak. And what you have to offer, or what I have to offer, can be really helpful and really essential. And I don't have to transform myself. Do I have to like learn a couple things? Yes, I was very clear I needed to learn a couple things, but that's the kind of vibe of Swagger School is like that's in you. Like it's not beyond you. You can be yourself. You can find people and have and offer what you have to offer in the world, and and that the right clients will pick up what you're putting down. And so I got really, really helpful information from that pop-up that I participated in. Um, and, I think like the amount of knowledge that Agneti has is just extraordinary, and the amount of experience, and but with this bottom kind of strength of purpose that says you don't have to change who you are. And so that's to me what differentiated it from other programs out there about landing corporate clients is that is the part that like really appealed to me.
So, so true. I mean, you touch on, given your mindfulness background, right? Some of the surprises, right? Knowing that you can be your authentic self and still thrive, right? When serving corporate clients, so you don't have to change who you are. I'm curious, what might have been, one mindset shift that you went through as you were preparing yourself to grow in this way? Like, what is one specific mindset shift that you can point back to that really helped you prepare to set the stage for success in growing and expanding your business by serving more organizations?
That I didn't have to be this idea of a corporate mindfulness trainer. And in fact, that idea has been played out. It's been done many times by other people who may or may not have been authentic in who they are, but it's not who I was. And that is actually, I think Swagger School really helped me to see and is continuing to help me to see how it's actually like an asset to have your own special sauce, your own vibe, and your own truth that you bring to the table. And that corporations are not one thing. There's also people in corporations that might vibe with you. They're just people in a particular environment, and they got the dollars to spend on what you're offering. And so just shifting out of like this idea of people, a bunch of people in suits who are not like me and don't, look like me or act like me or want what I have to offer, versus maybe they're in suits, but they are also just like me. And so I think that was a huge mindset shift. And I think a big mindset shift that Swagger School has helped me with also is just um, I think what is commonly repeated in the trainings is like you teach people how to treat you, and you come to the table with your full expertise and your full self, and that if it's not aligned, then it's not aligned, but that to really like root yourself in your purpose and your worth, And that is incredibly valuable because
Yeah.
it's not easy to do, to kind of be vulnerable and to pitch and to go in front of people and to stand up for yourself and say, I have something special that is going to be in service of other people. And so I think these pieces, like whether it's like how much you charge or how to set your price or how you want to conduct your meetings, I think just kind of those foundational pieces have been a mindset shift in how to land more corporate clients.
Oh, I love to hear it because so often people want to leave with their service or their offering. But you were bringing the fullness of your personal brand, right? You'd written a book, right? You'd been featured, you'd had extraordinary success in building out your unique method. And now it's a time to, right, take that impact to the next level. So you join the program, sign up for Swagger School. Walk folks through what that experience was like once you were in the program.
Um, so Swagger School was definitely a big investment for me. It was really like I had wanted to join probably a year or like several times before I actually joined, but I really had to work up the investment. And as soon as I joined, when I joined Swagger School, I just felt like this is worth all of it because there is so much knowledge and wisdom and resources. Even, as I've been moving through the online materials, um, I constantly go back to little snippets of little videos or a worksheet that we did, and it like spans the fullness of what we're trying to do here by getting corporate clients. So anything you can think of, it's pretty much in there. And then to have Agnetti's wisdom and support through office hours to be able to, like, in real life be like, they're saying this, but I want this. What do I do? Or I'm about to make this big pitch. Like, how does this sound? And just to get that real life feedback. Um, and sometimes at this point, I've watched so many videos and had, so many conversations that I kind of I hear the voice in my head of, like, I imagine, like, okay, what would Agnetti say about this? Okay, I don't know if it's true, but it's like, it's really helpful to kind of like infuse that into this world of getting corporate clients.
Oh, I love to hear that so much. I remember, being at the height of my career as a corporate executive and often looking around the rooms, right, in those negotiation meetings and boardrooms, and just recognizing I was the only one who looked like me at those tables. And so when we built Swagger School, we wanted to create an environment where you never had to feel like you were sitting at that negotiation table alone. So love to hear that it translated in your experience day to day as you're out there negotiating. So we recently had a challenge, right? We had our B2B lead gen challenge where we were talking about how to find your next corporate client. And you actually closed a deal during that challenge. So walk us through that experience, and share a little bit about a recent win that you went through, so that other folks can have an idea of what to anticipate and what to expect once they apply the learnings from our Swagger School program.
Yes. So in the challenge period, there was just lots of just that particular brand of inspiration plus concrete, practical, do this and do this. And part of the motivation for me was just that kind of push of being like, reach out to people, close the deal, like circle the loop. And I had begun these conversations, but I was like, why aren't I just closing this? Like, let's close it. Let's finish it up. So I was motivated and I went back to the people that I had these preliminary conversations with. And I don't know if it was just the energy of the challenge or the feeling of my own confidence. But they were like, yeah, let's do it, and we kind of closed the deal. And so it was so heartening and just confidence boosting because there definitely are a lot of no's out here in the world, and but each yes kind of, I think, then attracts other yeses and just builds that confidence and that energy of, like, yeah, I'm really doing this. I'm really in this. And that has been the case since then. Like I've been able to hold on to that feeling of the yes. And I'm hopeful that that'll just continue to grow.
What's one word of advice that you would share with somebody else who was in your shoes, right? You started off working with individual consumers, you expanded your business now, take on organizations. What would you tell to someone else who's navigating a similar shift?
In my experience, I mean, it's so much more lucrative. And it just, it's so much, in some ways, like it's still a lot of effort, but the amount you can make and the impact you can have from working with a corporation is just many, many, many times bigger than what you can do working with individuals. Um, I was busting my butt working with individuals. I still am. I still have some part of my business that works with individuals, but it's just the scale is so much bigger. And so even though obviously it's not fast, it's not easy, and like not everybody's going to say yes, just the amount of energy, it's just such it's just, practically the energy that you save in going after the bigger fish is just, it's huge. And if you can get one, that's like 10 individuals, and so it's just the math works out that it really is, in my opinion, like a smart move for most businesses. Um, and I guess I would say to join Swagger School to get support so that you can get that return on your investment, and you get can play on a bigger scale.
Absolutely. So, where can people keep up with you? Yeah. Where can they learn more about how to work with you and how to keep up with your programs?
My website is yaelshai.com. And you can find me also on LinkedIn, Yael Shai, or on Instagram, Yael Shai1. And I would love to connect with anybody for any reason that interested in talking about Swagger School, about mindfulness, and about wellness in the corporate or higher ed realm.
Thank you so much, Yael, for taking the time to sit down and share your journey with us. It has been an honor to work with you in growing and expanding your footprint in the corporate landscape. And I just cannot wait to see where your journey leads you. I'm excited to continue the journey with you. And I thank you so much for sharing your Swagger success story with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.